Welcome to the Fashionista Life podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Johnson. If you found yourself here, it may mean that you are looking for courage, clarity, or confidence in some part of your life. Or maybe you just want to be entertained, and that is great as well. Let's go ahead and get started. Today, we welcome back into the studio Lauren Hussey, and she is a Naples native, which is, we talked about that before, how hard that is to find. There's not a lot of people born and raised here.
Yep.
And you are a Florida-based property insurance attorney specializing in catastrophic damage due to natural disasters like hurricanes.
Hurricanes, fires, anything.
Because, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
hurricanes, right?
Mhm.
We've had 2 doozies in 5 years, and let's
Mhm.
hope that we do not get any more for a long time.
Yep.
But after a hurricane, there's so many things that I know, I just having gone through Ian,
Mhm.
there's so many things that we should do and shouldn't do
Mhm.
that people still did because they didn't have anyone guiding them. Because let's face it, we've had a lot of new people move into our area
Yep.
in the last few years.
That was their first experience
Right.
with a hurricane, and it was a big one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I know I say let's talk about 5 things, but there may be more than 5 that
Mhm.
we uncover, and that's fine. I just want our listeners to be informed.
Yep.
And you're the first person I thought of when I'm like, we have to do something on hurricanes
Mhm.
because you live and breathe this.
Mhm.
You know what people should do and what we shouldn't do.
Right.
And that's why I thought this was such an important segment to have, especially considering, we're coming towards the end.
Mhm.
We're not at the end. I guess it's really September's prime time.
Yeah.
So what am I talking about? All of our terrible storms have been
Yeah.
in September, right?
Yeah. September, October, that's kind of August, September, and October
Mhm.
is really hurricane. That's the
Like,
time to watch,
right. It
the
starts in
news.
June and
Yep.
ends in November.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So after a hurricane strikes,
Mhm.
what should we do? And then we'll talk about what we shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Because there were some things that we were talking about before the show. I'm like, oh my gosh, didn't even think about that.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, when a hurricane first hits, if you evacuated or you're still there, you need to immediately assess your damage and document it with photos and video. Okay. Within the first few days, get
Okay.
everything down in video. Um, you also need to call in your claim as soon as possible. Don't wait. Don't think, oh, I'm going to wait because they're probably getting slammed with calls right
Right.
now. No, do it immediately. If you have to be on hold for an hour, be on hold for an hour. Just get it in. Because even if you, like we were talking about on the other podcast, even if you think your damages are below your deductible or you think that they're not that serious, I can fix that myself. That's
Mhm.
not a big deal. You still need to notify the insurance company. Don't be worried about, they're going to drop me. Chances are they're not, just for
Mhm.
filing a claim or just for notifying them of damage. But you definitely need to, because unless you're an expert that
Right.
knows what you're looking at. I mean, there's a chance that you could have additional damages or over time that you don't know, and you won't know until you get some rain or something. But definitely call in your claim to your insurance company as soon as possible and make sure you're mitigating your damages. You want to make sure that if there is a leak in your ceiling or in your roof, that you're putting a tarp over that. If, a window is broken,
Mhm.
you need to be putting a board around it, something to stop more rain from coming in. And the same goes, and even, we're talking a lot about hurricanes, but
Mhm.
the same is to be said with, let's say, a pipe burst in your house. I mean, these are the things that I see
Mhm. Oh,
all the
right.
time, right? We get a hurricane once every, I don't know. Nowadays, it's like every couple few
Right.
years. But even something like that, if you have to file an insurance claim because a pipe burst, you don't just let the water keep running, right? You've got to
Right.
stop it. You've got to try to like sop up the water, use a dry vac, try to put a dehumidifier. And that's something, you need to do with a storm too. You lose electricity after
Mhm.
a storm. Get a dehumidifier in there,
Right.
get some fans in there. Don't just let mold
Mhm.
grow. Don't be like, that's it. I'm wiping my hands clean of this. I'm going to stay in a
Right.
hotel and let it get worse. Like, you got to try to mitigate your damage. Another tip I would say to do after a hurricane is when the insurance adjuster comes out, we call them a field adjuster. They're going to come out and they're going to inspect all the damages and document everything. Work with them.
Mhm.
Show them everything. Don't just let them do their thing and just stand outside and wait until they're done. Show them all the things that you noticed. If you noticed what during the storm your roof seemed to be lifting, show
Mhm.
them that. Show them, okay, this truss seems to have been, I saw my ceiling moving at one
And
point.
it's funny that you say that because we had that with with the last hurricane with our pool cage,
Oh,
and we
okay.
could see it like
Lifting.
lifting up.
Mhm.
And sure enough, the whole thing has to go.
Has to go. Yeah. So point it out to them though,
Hmm.
because they're seeing thousands and thousands of homes and they can miss stuff, and
Right.
if and you want to document too, by the way, you want to document what they are looking at. Like if they refuse to go in the attic or they refuse to
Oh,
go on the roof,
uh-huh.
keep note of that, write it down. Okay, he was, and how long they were there for. If they were only there for like 10 minutes, they did
Right.
a crappy inspection. They didn't go in the attic. They didn't even look at my roof damage. Keep note of that
Hmm.
because if the insurance company then decides to not pay you and you have to hire
Right.
me, I'm going to
Hmm.
be using that as evidence of like, you didn't even do a
Absolutely.
proper inspection. Here's the statutes you violated.
Hmm.
And, we're going to sue you for a bad faith claim in addition to a breach of contract claim. So, that's something you definitely need to make sure you're documenting your entire insurance claim experience from the field adjuster to the desk adjusters. How many desk adjusters have you had?
What does
Um,
that mean?
so a desk adjuster is the person that never comes out to inspect your home. The field adjuster inspects. The desk adjuster is the person over the phone who gets assigned to your case, who's going to be looking at that report from the field adjuster and kind of determining,
Oh,
okay, what are we going to pay from
I
this?
got it.
And what I have been seeing a lot of tactics that they're using right now is they keep switching up the desk adjusters. I have some
Oh
clients
my
with like
gosh.
8 desk adjusters. That's how many every few weeks, it's a new desk adjuster. And then that new desk adjuster has no idea what's happened in the past few months and they start from scratch again. And it's just a way to delay, to
Oh
detect.
my
The tactic is what it is.
gosh.
So there's stuff like that that you need to just be documenting as best you can with like, I called the insurance adjuster
Hmm.
today. Here's who it is. Here's what they told me. Oh, next week I got a new desk adjuster. Here's her name. Here's her number. Here's what she told me. Just keep a log of everything. Another would be you also have the ability to ask for reinspection. So if your insurance field adjuster comes out and you don't think they inspected properly, they didn't go upstairs, they didn't look in the roof, they didn't look in the attic, they didn't seem to care, call the insurance company and say, "Look, he did a crappy
Hmm.
job. I want someone else out here. Please come out and reinspect." So that's something you can ask for as well.
Okay.
And if they don't reinspect, write that down. Keep
Hmm.
note of that. They didn't even care to come back out when I asked them to. I told them I was unhappy with the inspection. I told them felt that I was underpaid. I asked for reinspection. They're not doing the right thing. Keep note of
Yeah.
that. So that's just a few examples of.
Wow. You
Mhm,
know, I've also heard of people going, well, I don't want to file an insurance claim because what if they drop me?
mhm.
But likewise, what if you actually file a claim and your insurance company goes bankrupt? Because we've been seeing that
Yep, that happens.
with
It
the last
happens
storm.
every storm. It happens. So insurance companies, believe it or not, have insurance, and thank God they do
And
because
I would never have known that.
I know it's called reinsurance. And so when your insurance company sends you a letter saying, we're going insolvent, that insurance company, the reinsurance company, well, it's called FIGA, they are going to step in and you are no longer going to be getting your money from the insolvent insurance company. You're going to be getting it from their insurance company. It tends to slow things down. It puts a stay on, for us as attorneys on when we can litigate. There's like a six
Oh
months,
my
6 month
gosh.
hold. So it does slow things down a lot. It's not great at all when this happens for policyholders, and it does complicate things a lot. And I do recommend if you have one of those companies that have gone bankrupt, you need to hire legal counsel because it has now gotten to a point where it's much more complicated and
Right.
and you're not going to be hearing from adjusters, no one's going to be answering the phones. You have to have an attorney who's going to be sending in the documentation, the expert reports on your behalf, and the demand letters and everything that's necessary with that.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Great. Those are some really great tips.
Yeah.
Is your closet overflowing? Or maybe your kids' closets are as well. Or maybe you just want to redecorate your home. If you're wondering what to do with all that stuff that you've accumulated, bring it all to True Fashionistas or even ship it to them for free and they'll sell your unwanted items for you. They take away all the hassle by doing all the work, and all you have to do is sit back and collect your money. You can reach out to them online at truefashionistas.com, come into the store, or check them out on Facebook or Instagram, and that's truefashionistas.com. Welcome back, friends. We are in the studio today with Lauren Hussey, and she is a property insurance attorney, I guess. If
Yep.
you
Yep.
did I say that right?
Yeah, property it's
Okay.
first party property insurance, but yeah, property insurance attorney, Some people would say hurricane insurance attorney.
I know. I just called you a hurricane
Yeah,
attorney.
yeah, that's
No.
fine. That's fine.
But we've been talking about what to do after a hurricane. So we talked about what to do. What shouldn't we do? Because we were talking before we went on about something, and I said, "Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
wow! I wish I would have known that before."
Hmm.
So, what are things that we should not do after a hurricane
Well,
or
definitely.
any disaster that
Yeah,
strikes?
definitely don't like we've had a lot of fires lately because of all the dry.
Right.
Definitely don't throw away all of your contents prior to an insurance adjuster coming out and inspecting. They need to be able to inspect, see everything that was
Hmm.
ruined, even if you just put it out in the front yard in a pile. But just don't let the trash guy take it away.
So, now you talked about fires, and I just
Hmm.
had a fleeting thought.
Hmm.
Like, so you have a fire.
Hmm.
And it
Everything's burnt.
and okay, so with a hurricane, we have time to prepare.
Hmm.
We usually have a week or,
Yeah.
days anyway.
Yeah.
A fire happens like that.
Yeah.
It's not something that we can
Yeah.
plan for, right?
Hmm.
What happens? Okay, I didn't do pictures, I didn't do any. How do you get the money that you're due with the stuff that is completely gone? You have nothing
Yeah.
to
It's just
show.
charred. I know. I mean, that's why going back to the previous podcast, try to document everything before there is an
Mm-hmm.
emergency. Try to have photos of your house, in each bedroom, inventory lists. You never know what could
Yeah.
happen. Um, but yeah, fires are its own
Mm-hmm.
whole different scenario. I mean, those are devastating. It's sometimes the whole house is just rubble,
Mm-hmm.
which actually some houses on Fort Myers Beach were rubble after what?
Right. I mean, I have a couple friends that we helped after the
Yeah.
hurricane,
Hmm.
and they didn't wait for an adjuster, and
Yeah.
they
And they
just
just
threw
threw
everything
everything out.
away because
Yeah.
they, I guess,
I'd
didn't.
be curious to see how that panned out,
Mhm.
if they were paid on it. Maybe they had photographs of the stuff from, in their phones from months prior.
Right.
I don't know, but it does make things very difficult. And you do see the insurance company trying not to pay on stuff that you can't prove otherwise.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I mean, no matter what the situation is, you should always prepare for the worst.
Mhm.
And, whether it be fires or pipe bursts or gosh, tornadoes. I
Mhm.
mean, everything. Just kind of have everything documented and photographed
But the key is to wait until an adjuster has come
to throw
out.
everything out. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. And as far as fires go, I mean, if there's nothing left, if
Right.
it's all gone, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
That's why being prepared
Mhm.
beforehand and
Right.
having photos is
So
important.
what else are we doing that we shouldn't be doing?
Hmm.
Because, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, things that you are doing that you shouldn't be doing. I mean, giving up on your claim
Mhm.
is one, or believing that, oh, they told me my claim is closed. So therefore, I'm not going to continue. It's closed. It can be
Mhm.
reopened. If a claim is closed and they say, oh, we gave you this amount, or we think your damages are below deductible and we're now closing your claim, you can reopen it. So not pursuing damages, not pursuing coverage, when you're underpaid or
Mhm.
denied and not continuing to try to get coverage, I think is a huge mistake. You've already filed the claim. Your insurance company could still, release you
Right.
and you wouldn't have insurance and you didn't even get paid to repair your damages. So,
What if you did get paid
mhm,
and you accepted the payout, but you're like,
yeah, you can
I
reopen.
know I can totally get more than this.
Yeah, you can reopen it. You can reopen the claim unless you signed a release. If you received a check and you had to sign a document that basically releases them from all future
Mhm.
liability or on that claim, then you can't. So make sure you're looking at what you're signing. When you're getting that check, make sure that there's no language in
Mhm.
there that releases them. But as long as you received a check, you didn't sign anything like that, you can reopen it. You get supplemental damages. You can add on to the claim. So that's all something that you need to be
Okay.
pursuing, definitely.
So I have a few questions that we've had from listeners, and
Mhm.
that you get a lot of. Can I still hire a lawyer after signing an AOB? And I know a lot of people don't know what an AOB is.
Yeah. So an AOB is an assignment of benefits, and they've actually now done away. They don't allow these. So the bills that were passed in December, this past
Mhm.
December, one of them is starting January 1st.
Of
Roofing,
2023?
yes, roofing companies, contractors, they can't make you sign this document. It's called an assignment of benefits. And basically, what it does is it says, We, the roofing company, are now we've stepped into the shoes of the policyholder and we retain the rights to this insurance claim. That's what
Oh
an
my
AOB is. And
gosh.
people were signing those left and
Oh
right.
my my.
I know. And it's just some language that's in the agreement that states this. And obviously, this is no bueno, So they've done
No.
away with that, which is one of the things that I do agree
Mhm.
with these recent bills that passed. But can you hire a lawyer after signing an AOB? Yes, you can. And if you did sign an AOB and you regret it, which most people
Right.
do, can you get out of it? Yes, there is the possibility of also getting out of it, especially if they haven't performed under the
Mhm.
contract, because at the end of the day,
Right.
it is a contract. And if they were supposed to put a new roof on and they haven't done anything and then you sign this AOB, there's that. And there's also some time, within 14 days, that kind of thing, that you might be able to get out of it. But yes, you can still hire an attorney and it can be something that I might be able to assist you with.
Okay.
Mhm.
Another one that I've heard of, and I know you have too, can I start making repairs prior to an insurance payout?
You can, you just need to give the insurance company notice. It does state in every policy that the insurance company must be given notice prior to you making repairs. I don't recommend making permanent repairs. I recommend making temporary repairs if you haven't been paid out in full by your
Oh my
insurance company.
gosh, right.
But a lot of people are doing it because, if they get a contractor, contractors are
Oh,
like
right.
impossible
Oh
to
my
get,
gosh.
right? So if they've got someone that's ready to do the repair and they haven't been paid by the insurance company and they have the means to pay for that
Mhm.
up front, yes, you can do that. But just make sure you're notifying insurance company, you're sending the insurance company all of your,
Mhm.
invoices, your estimates from all of those, your receipts. But it is possible. It just sometimes, especially if it's something that's being contested by the insurance company, like if they don't feel that you need new windows and you're going and putting in all new windows, you want to get an expert out there to take a look at it first and document what the situation is, because you can take out a window and you might need to look in the walls. If there was
Mhm.
water intrusion, there's all this water
Right.
damage in there. Get that documented because you're
Mhm.
about to replace it. All the evidence is going to be gone. So make sure you're hiring your experts first. A lot of times that would be through an attorney. We have
Mhm.
all those experts.
Oh,
And
really?
then yeah, I've got every kind of expert you can imagine, and they would be documenting that, and then you're putting the new window in, but at least we have that report of like, here's what was going on behind the walls, here's what we
Right.
had to fix, this is, and then we use the estimates that they received,
Mhm.
here's what it cost them to repair it all. But you need to make sure that you have all of your evidence backed up before you start
Right.
making
So
repairs.
you imagine not getting paid by the insurance company after you did all the work?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
happens all the
I'm sure
time.
it does.
Yeah.
So, what is recoverable depreciation?
Recoverable depreciation is exactly as it sounds. It's depreciation that the insurance company is taking from your contents or your home, but it's recoverable. That means you're entitled to it. So when you see that on your payment breakdown letter that you get in the mail, it
Mhm.
states what they're giving you. You'll see this line that says depreciation, recoverable depreciation. Sometimes it can be non-recoverable. It just depends on the policy. But if you see recoverable depreciation, that means you're entitled to that money. Whatever's that next to that line item, you're entitled to that. But every insurance company is different. They typically, in order to release those funds to you, they want to see your estimates and your receipts and your repairs and that type
Mhm.
of thing, and then they will release those funds. But you are entitled to that money, and a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, that's good to
So
know.
yeah.
Absolutely. And then, so I file an insurance claim. What do I do then? What do I do while I'm waiting? Because there's
Yep.
a lot of
Well,
time I'm sure that passes. Is there
yeah.
any law that says they have to award you money within a certain period of time?
Yes. So they will not award you money, but they have to give you a
Or
decision.
yes.
They have to give you a decision. It was 90 days, it's now 60 days.
Oh,
So they
wow.
have to send you a letter, even if it's saying we're not paying you anything,
Uh-huh.
that needs to be sent to you. So if you didn't get any kind of letter, and it's now been how many months,
Mhm.
that's something that should be making you think, I need an attorney. This is not how it's supposed to be. They are really messing me around. So, that's something to take into consideration. But definitely, you should have received some word from your insurance company at this point.
Mhm.
You should be far along in your insurance claim by now. Definitely. But as far as what to do after filing a claim, you filed a claim, you wait for the field adjuster to come out before you do anything, before you throw anything
Mhm.
away or make any repairs even. Once you do that, you then uh, basically wait until they give you some sort of decision, which, like I said, it should be within 60 days. And then if you haven't been paid, I suggest you hire legal counsel and you get the ball moving quickly on
Mhm.
that. The quicker you hire legal counsel when you're not being paid or you're underpaid, the sooner you'll get a check in the mail. So, sometimes it's very easy for us attorneys. Sometimes it's just we get a couple experts out there, we file a demand letter,
Mhm.
we tell them you got this many days to pay our client. Sometimes they'll pay. And then it's just,
Because they're getting a letter from an attorney,
exactly.
right?
Unfortunately, that's how it works. Yeah. Mhm.
Because it's
And we're calling them out on, we're filing
right,
different documents, not just a demand letter. We're
right.
filing something called a civil remedy notice. We're pointing out all the statutes that they
Mhm.
violated, and we're saying, look, if you don't pay them what they're owed, we'll pursue
Mhm.
other damages as well. But do the right thing and do it quickly,
Right. They
please.
know
So,
that the client means
mhm.
business at
Yeah,
that point
exactly.
because they went and hired someone.
Yep.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, you have been a wealth of knowledge. You
Thanks.
you know
I
this
hope
like
it, I hope I answered some questions. And I know a lot of people, this is what they're dealing with day in and
right.
day out right now. I mean, it's taking up so much of their time and they're like, I can't deal with this insurance
Mhm.
company anymore. I just want to fix my home,
Right.
So this has been on a lot of local
Absolutely, it
Southwest
has.
Florida's
Yeah.
minds at the time. So,
Well, we're gonna do a quick speed round. I
okay.
love doing speed rounds because it is just a window into your world and how you think. So,
Mhm.
my first question is, what is success to you?
Success to me is probably figuring out what makes you happy and then pursuing that.
Mhm.
That to me, I mean, yeah, yeah, pursuing what makes you happy.
Because you think about this old saying,
Yeah.
if you get up every day and you're excited to go to work and
Mhm.
you're doing what you love,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
everything
A lot of people
better.
don't have, that opportunity to always have their job be something they love.
Mhm.
But it may be something else. It
Mm.
may be a hobby. It may be, a new, some sort of, yeah, hobby that you want to take on. And, if you love it, go for it,
Mhm.
do it. And yeah, I think it's, if you can find that thing, because that takes time too.
It
You got to
does.
find what makes me happy. What is it? You get so caught
Right.
up in day to day
You do.
everything, but find that thing and then go do it.
Now, this next one is a favorite of mine. Who do you lean on for advice?
I definitely turn to my husband and also my dad for advice when I'm in a difficult situation. But I do try to follow my gut and do
Mm.
what I think's best. I'll definitely take them like they definitely help me when it's a stressful situation and I
Mhm.
might lose, they give me clarity on it.
Mhm.
Emotions can get,
Oh,
high,
right.
get the best of me, but and I'll definitely want advice on that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I have to think, okay, well, what is my gut telling me? What is I know myself. I know
Mhm.
how I'm going to react to this. And yeah, I have, them that I look to for advice, but at the end of the day, I try to trust myself too.
And that's a good one
Mhm.
because our intuition as women,
Yeah.
pretty strong.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like you meet somebody and you're just like,
Mhm.
or wow, you have yeah, I can tell
Yeah.
you have a great aura about you. I just am
Yeah.
attracted to
Yeah.
your personality.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
awesome.
Mhm.
And then what is the hardest part of what you do?
I would say I get a lot of really hard phone calls of people who've lost everything
Mhm.
after this storm, And the hardest part is not being able to help everyone, I
Mhm.
would say, because there's a lot of people who just didn't have insurance. They didn't have flood insurance and their
Wow.
house is flooded and
Yeah.
destroyed. And they're calling me asking, can you help me? And I do insurance law. That's all I do.
Right.
So I can give them names of nonprofits and FEMA, tell them to reach out to various websites to file applications and everything. But I can't help everyone, and I hear their stories.
Mhm.
I had a client who her son was missing on Fort
Oh
Myers
my
Beach.
gosh.
Yeah, and just listening to her story and so many of her friends and family who didn't have coverage and now are like, what do we do? And it's heartbreaking, but definitely I want to be able to help
Mhm.
everyone and I can't. And
Yeah.
that's, I
That would be
feel
hard.
helpless of it on it. But Yeah.
Well, Lauren, if our listeners would like to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Yes, they can call me at 239-888-6710, or they can go to my website and fill out a online submission, and then I will call them. And that would be yourstormattorney.com. Or they can go to my website and learn a little bit more about me and read some of the tips that
Hmm.
we spoke about at laurenhusseylaw.com. And it's Lauren, Lauren, Hussey, Hussey, law.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you for
on.
having me. It's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining me today, my friends, at every week here on The Fashionista Life, brought to you by True Fashionistas. If you want a deeper dive, head to my website, thefashionistalife.com, to sign up for my weekly newsletters where we take a deeper dive each week into a new topic. Have a fabulous day.